Mindy, why don't you tell us your connection to the Courage Ride, to sarcoma cancer research, and all that stuff?
Okay, well, 6 years ago, I had a large tumor, stage 3, I believe, removed from my left hip. I was diagnosed wrong for a year and a half. And when they finally found it, it was grapefruit sized and pretty much deteriorated the hip. And so I was requested to go to Iowa hospitals, and Iowa City Hospital and clinics. That's where I met Dr. Miller, Dr. Milhelm, Dr. Munga, an infectious doctor, and Joe King. So that's where my journey kind of started. And in the process of my healing, going through chemo, they had mentioned to me about the Courage Ride.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a couple years to bounce back from my surgeries. But once I did, I said this was a challenge. And it was more for me than just the Relay for Life. Relay for Life covers all cancers, and the Courage Ride was personal for me. So I just felt like a need I could give back. And so that's where I started with the 16. My husband and I both rode. This will be our fourth year. And each year I try again, push my goals, doing 24, 32, I think last year. And my goal is 50 this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I imagine it sounds like it's significant to have a doctors nearby, and then also a community of local people and a community you get to see and be around.
Yeah. Well, I get to relate with them because somebody has gone through sarcoma cancer. If it's not some of the riders, it's family members. And I've been touched. I read the story about Abby and met her family. And she passed away from the sarcoma cancer. And there are so many things in her book that I could relate to. So I've just made so many connections with this Courage Ride, besides just participating.
Yeah.
And they also had honoree 2 years ago. So I was a patient honoree 2 years ago, and I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I imagine then, having been through it, that it would be really meaningful to see or know about the research being done, because I know it's a rare cancer, and I know often you can kind of feel alone in that sense that there is this community and there's this research side of it, and trying to prevent it or enable better results for people down the road.
Exactly. The support that I feel like I'm trying to give them back is finding new ways, new medicines, new treatments, new things that the doctors can have in place in Iowa City. And then it doesn't just stay in Iowa City. It's then put into magazines, and, other doctors can bounce off of what they are learning. So yes.
Yeah. So what did you learn about yourself or about life in going through an experience of cancer?
I think the biggest thing I learned is to be humble. So everybody goes through a struggle, and until you go through it, which I can get emotional, until you go through it, you don't know what somebody else is going through. And, I'll be honest in saying right now, doctors have referred, at least one patient that's going through now what I did 6 years ago. And this patient has things different, but I'm a soundboard for this patient. So they've been able to contact me, ask me about my story, and I've been in touch with after the surgery. And so there, I'm still kind of giving back. It just opens doors in so many ways.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Some people could go through it and then just not want to deal with it again, and that'd be fine.
And
But
every story is different, but
yeah.
they're not alone. And I felt, when I was going through it, that it is rare. So it's hard to find out information from other people. So, I hope that's something that I'm giving back too. And I also, I'm still on crutches. I probably will be for the rest of my life. But I don't want it to define me. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you want to say to people that are supporting the Courage Ride, whether by riding or...
I have my virtual ride out there. Mine is Mindy's Circus for a Cure. I wanted to do something fun, colorful. I'm having mine up here in Northwest Iowa, and I'm right here near Black Hawk Lake. So the road goes all the way around it. We bike it. It's about 7 miles. And then we also have the sock trail. So I'm trying to promote some bike trails up this way. The sock trail, I know at least goes down to Carroll. That's a 30-mile just one way. And so my day is open on next Friday, August 14th. Probably it'll get started about 8 in the morning, and it's going to go all day. People can ride my cul-de-sac. Bam, you're in. So I just want to encourage anybody that wants to come out and do a ride with me, or just do a ride. We'll get pictures and I'll get it back up on the event.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really inspiring how you went through this experience and then immediately started giving back in both like kind of ways towards riding and fundraising, but then also very personal ways and talking to people. I think that's really
Well,
inspiring.
I'll tell you what, the first time I sat down on a bike, I put my crutches aside, and it's the first time I felt normal again. So, to other people that ride bikes all the time, I had my legs still, and I could still do things. So that was important to me. That was a big boost for me.
Yeah. I love that. Well, Minde, thanks for joining us today and sharing your experience.
Great. Thank you for having me.
You did great.
All right.
Good job.
Good. Except for swatting a fly buzzing around my face.
Yes, it's hard to.
You just never know.
It's hard to stay focused and deal with what's around you.
Yeah.